If you're a homeowner in North Carolina, you know the struggle. That perfect green lawn is a hard-fought battle, right? You've probably found yourself wondering if there's a better way than spending your precious weekends sweating it out in the summer heat. Well, today we're diving into the world of smart lawn tech to answer that one big question. Is it really worth the investment for a Carolina yard in 2026? So, does this look a little too familiar? The sun's just bleeding down, the humidity is so thick you could practically wear it, and the grass, it just never stops growing. It's this relentless cycle that can make you dread your Saturdays. But what if technology could just give you all that time back? Before we can even talk about solutions, we got to get on the same page about the problem. And let's be real, keeping a lawn healthy here in North Carolina isn't just about pushing a mower around. It's a whole different beast that tests even the most dedicated among us. Now, what makes our lawns so special? Well, this slide really nails it. We're dealing with that oppressive humidity that puts so much stress on the turf. We've got aggressive weeds like crabgrass and nutsedge that seem to appear out of thin air. On top of that, you've got unpredictable rain, that heavy clay soil or super sandy soil, and a growing season that feels like it lasts forever, from March all the way to October. It's basically a perfect storm for a high-maintenance yard. Okay, so let's hit the biggest time suck first, right? Mowing. The most popular solution out there right now is the robotic mower, and its promise is incredibly simple: to give you back your weekends. So how do these things even work? Honestly, you can think of it like a Roomba, but for your grass. First, you set up a boundary, either with a low-voltage wire you bury or on the fancier models with GPS. Then, you just pop open an app on your phone and tell it when you want it to mow. From there on out, the mower does all the work. It trims a little bit all the time, completely on its own, and even takes itself back to its charging dock when it's running low on juice. And this is where you really see the magic. Instead of one big, heavy cut every week that kind of stresses out your grass, the robot gives it a continuous, light trim. It's way healthier for the lawn. And the noise? Or the lack of noise, really. It's super quiet, about as loud as a normal conversation, so you can run it whenever. Plus, all those tiny clippings just fall back into the soil and act as a natural fertilizer. But the bottom line, the big win, is that this can free up 3 to 5 hours of your time every single week during our very long growing season. That's huge. But let's have a reality check here. It's not a perfect hands-off solution. We got to be realistic about the challenges right here in North Carolina. Our classic afternoon thunderstorms will pause the mowing. These things aren't supposed to run in heavy rain. If you've got a hilly yard in the Piedmont or the mountains, you're going to need a pricier model that can handle those slopes. The initial cost can be a bit of a shock, and yep, you still have to walk the yard and clear out sticks and pine cones that could jam up the blades. All right, mowing's one thing. What about the next big headache? Watering. In a state where we can have a drought one month and a deluge the next, smart irrigation promises to take all the guesswork out of watering and, save you some serious cash along the way. The technology here is it's brilliant. Instead of a dumb timer that just turns on at 5 a.m., whether it's pouring rain or bone dry, a smart controller connects to your Wi-Fi. It actually pulls local weather forecasts. It can even use sensors in the soil to know the exact moisture level right at the roots. The bottom line, it waters only when your lawn is actually thirsty. And here it is. This is the number that gets everyone's attention. According to the EPA, you could see up to a 50% reduction in your outdoor water use compared to those old school timers. 50%! In a state where water bills seem to only go up, that is a massive potential savings. So what does that actually look like in real dollars? Well, let's break it down. Say your standard timer is running you about $60 a month in the summer. Even with a pretty conservative 30% reduction, a smart system drops that bill down to around $42. Now you stretch that out over our 6-month watering season, it starts to add up really fast. So what's the payback? This is the killer part. For anyone who already has a sprinkler system, just swapping out that old controller is a surprisingly low-cost project. And based on the water savings we just saw, that one little upgrade can completely pay for itself in just 2 to 4 seasons. After that, it's just pure savings going right back into your pocket year after year. All right, so we've automated the mowing, we've optimized the watering, but what about the actual health of the grass itself? Let's look at what might be the newest frontier in lawn tech: artificial intelligence, that basically acts like a personal doctor for your yard, catching problems before they spiral out of control.
The idea is actually super simple but really powerful. You use an app, you snap a few photos of your lawn, and the AI gets to work. It analyzes those images, compares them to a huge database of lawn problems, and then cross-references all that with local weather and soil data. It's like having a lawn care consultant on call 24/7, right in your pocket, spotting trouble sometimes weeks before you'd see it with your own eyes.
And this is where it becomes a real game changer for us here in the Carolinas. The AI is specifically trained to identify the issues that plague our lawns. We're talking about things like brown patch fungus that just loves our humidity, or pests like grubs and armyworms. Catching this stuff early can be the difference between a simple, cheap treatment and a full-blown, costly lawn renovation. It turns you from being reactive into being proactive. Okay, so we've seen the tech for mowing, for watering, and for diagnostics. Now we get to the big question. How in the world do you decide if any of this is actually right for your yard and, more importantly, for your budget? Let's walk through a super simple 4-point checklist to help you figure it out. First, what drives you the most crazy? Is it the time you spend mowing? Is it that sky-high water bill? Or is it just guessing what's wrong with your lawn? Start with your biggest pain point. Second, take a hard look at your actual property. Is it big? Is it hilly? Do you already have sprinklers? Third, don't forget where we live. Our long growing season makes these investments pay off faster, but our summer storms mean you need gear that can handle it. And finally, think beyond that initial price tag. You've got a budget for long-term stuff like new blades or batteries. And this is probably the single most important takeaway from all of this. Technology is not a magic wand. It can't replace the need for the basics, like proper fertilizer, weed control, or knowing what your soil needs. I love how the source material puts it. Technology is a powerful complement to local expertise, not a replacement for it. It just makes the hard work easier, so you can focus on the science of a great lawn. Look, the technology is here. It's not some far-off sci-fi dream anymore. It's mature, it works, and it's built to solve the exact problems we face every summer as North Carolina homeowners. So the question really isn't, does lawn tech work anymore? The real question is figuring out which pieces of it make sense for you. So, is your lawn ready for a smart upgrade?